we're going to kind of review this 7 stages before we want to say anything?
No, I just wanted to know if you, many of you, it's your first time doing this, and it's been a week now or 2 weeks. So I just wanted to hear from you, what are the challenges that you're finding? I mean, we heard about the good things, and that's great. But what are the challenges that you find now with with going to this lifestyle?
If I'm not prepared and I don't have I'm not constantly fueling myself when I'm hungry, I'll get cravings for mostly sometimes chicken. You know, it always passes. I always fill myself up.
Hey, chickens, you're safe today.
Yeah, but that's my main things. I get cravings.
Okay. You get some cravings.
Yeah.
The great foods will help with the cravings, by the way. It's Matt Warner. Matt Warner came all the way from Virginia today to speak. He doesn't know that.
I was speaking.
Okay.
Should I just introduce myself? I'm not speaking yet, right?
No, just introduce yourself.
I'm
He doesn't wear shoes, by the way. Ever. Ever.
My name is Matthew. I've been eating a raw vegan, mostly fruitarian diet for about 7.5 years. I started when I was like 21, 22. My previous life to that was pretty much in just lots of, started with the junk food addiction, and then it just increased thereafter. So for 10 years I was pretty much hooked to every substance that there was. So, but I was always still very overweight. The joke was I was the only Coke addict who couldn't lose weight. So I could rail out as much lines as I wanted to and go out to the diner and still have put on a full one. But you know, I reached a point in my life where I had made big changes. My diet, since that was the foundation of my addiction, was a big part of that, and raw food made a whole lot of sense to me. And then I started doing stuff thereafter and kind of turned my life around. I opened a raw food restaurant in Frenchtown for a while. I had a raw food catering business. But ultimately I decided that my place was to be living with the land and of service to the community. So now that kind of progressed into now what me and my partner Julie do is we go around and we build permaculture setups for places that help the community, for spiritual centers, for anywhere that offers free service or shelter or anything to the community. We build that. We try to connect them to the natural providence by building permaculture gardens and instituting a situation where they can eat a raw food diet in a sustainable way all year round, no matter what the climate. So we use a lot of permacultural ancient technologies and do stuff like that. We just sort of travel around. And one of the challenges, I'll say, since we're on that theme, just to finish off my introduction, is we live very simply. We also live off of donations. So sometimes we run into a situation where there's something we call a mandatory fasting period. So we'll hit a period where we're kind of out of money, and we'll take it as an opportunity to not feel lack, not feel fear, not feel like we're missing something, but sort of, you know, a lot of times it's nice to have for spiritual purposes, for health purposes, people engage in fasts, but when it's under their control, it's a lot easier. When it's not under your control, it's in a more natural context. So to be able to live without food and tap into something greater to get some energy, make your body more efficient, the way that you live is different, the way that you think is different. So one of the things that we've been doing, a lot of times people say fruitarians have to eat like 3,000 calories. And I at one time was doing that, but lately, for the past couple months, I'm lucky if I get more than 1,200 calories. And for a couple weeks it was, you know, just a handful of calories, and some days it was 800 calories. But I spend a lot of time being very conscious and aware, being outside in the sun and the air, and all those things are very, very important. Food is a very, very, very minuscule part of our nourishment. So if we pay attention to nature and immerse ourselves in all those multifaceted sources of natural nourishment, we get so much more than we think we concretely believe that we need to have. So there's a lot of mind patterns, and I guess this sort of translates into how we feel about food. The way that when we think that we're hungry, we think that we're starving. I mean, when you're starving, you know what starving means, and you get a whole different perspective as to what our body really needs to eat. And what eating really is it entertainment? Is it something that, is it an excuse for us to get close to somebody else by having this distraction? So it's about changing the way we think about food and seeing not just diseases as symptoms of a larger problem, but seeing our diets as a symptom of a broken culture. You know, and that's the real thing we have to look at. We can all change our diets arbitrarily on a single level, but if we never change the ways that culture got us to these diets, then we still have the same problem. So that's what we're trying to do now on this level.
Well, on that note, yeah, this is what I gave you last week, so if you have it at home, just leave on the table.